The Unsupreme Court. Hi, I'm here again. I put down my pen and lifted keyboard as my brain moves too quick for my hand these days, with the pain and anger that courses through my veins. Only a year on from the poem dedicated to women, their power, their rights, their voice, my heart bleeds, literally bleeds, as I have to write this down to drown out the noise of wails and crying of my sisters dying in pain across the pond, of the suicide which will increase and will never cease, and the muted voices some will see, no choices, of the unwanted children that would be placed into sin bins as they were born into homes that could barely afford them, as we ignore the importance of parental guidance. From brunettes to blondes, these men in shared thoughts and uniforms are now filling the train carriages with women, bodies upon bodies crushed together, and we will all look on. They will be ostracised, or worse, will die as they hold on to each other for comfort as their life and rights drain away through the floorboards of their carriages. As did the millions who were corralled in the same way some 80 years ago. It's uncomfortable to see that these trains filled with my sisters, but you cannot sit there and be shocked. There is no difference. We have sat in apathy and let this rhetoric grow as we allow ourselves to be polarised by the power. This is mass genocide, akin to the Holocaust, and I will not exhaust my language or tame my tongue. I am 50 now and defend the young. I will spit vile syntax directly at those who build the trains and tracks and sent my beautiful sister to Auschwitz 2.0, and I am no hero or a soapbox warrior. I've taken up arms and defended my beliefs, my nation, its future, and all of its peeps. And if I thought any good could ever come from grabbing my gun to hunt down these killers, these polite executioners, I would do so guilt-free. But their decision to hurt and kill my sisters is based on hate and anger, and my placing a bullet between their eyes will not abate the wave of support that remains ever-present and effervescent. At some stage, the world, if it is really needing some sort of codified book, will create a movement based on the combined messages and guidance of survival manuals of old, which will change as they grow. Not the bastardized beliefs of barbaric books of fiction that play no part in society and cause death and global friction. This friction leads to fires which are kept alive by rights deniers. And if you defend this, let's talk. Debate to end hate. I will pick apart your stance and ignorance, and if you don't understand the simplicity of speech with absolute disrespect, I will be that leech who extracts your toxins and gives you more options. Whilst tearing down your war horse of worship, my words will be acid for your thoughts and beliefs. No future scholars learn hate as revision, so we cleanse this planet of mass division. I have gratitude. I have gratitude for my attitude and that I am safe, and my daughter is safe, her friends are safe, and all the women I know are safe. But my heart is stretched west, ripping from my chest, from my town to the coast of barbarism, the sinews and cells of my left atrium snapping, severing, crying, shouting. Is this happening? Civilization, what frustration with this bureaucracy built on fecal hypocrisy. We are no better than the nations whom we belittle for the damage that they do with customs and practice and their beliefs, orchestrated always by a man they call the chief. They do not have the benefit of medical knowledge or intervention, of fairness and life and the Human Rights Convention. If this decision to condemn my sisters to death and a life of guilt and mental stress is based on Christian values, explain to me exactly what they are. As I stand here confused, totally bemused, and I refuse to think that any woman would follow this hollow, foul-stenching breath that only leads to them in pain or worse, death. So is this another club for men? In their filth and acrid den of shit as they pit themselves against the moral best? Is this a test for those who can commit the worst atrocities to humankind and our minds? Well, I'll just stop you in your tracks, as you have a history of death that spans a millennium and more. The ones you have crushed could populate a planet or score. The blood of those lost would fill up new seas. On all of this loss, a difference of beliefs. Despite being the people I enjoy being with the most, I am glad I am not a woman for some reasons. But two ring out the most. One, I know that this poem, prose, rant on a page to expel my rage, collects Tears collect between cheek and rim of glasses would be diluted to my gender, being seen as slender and of course an obvious defender of the cause. They would not reflect or take time to pause. Number 2, that my life would feel in danger, as liberalism is a concept reserved for nice dinner parties and drinks and the links we make with those who think like us, love like us, sleep, dream and believe like us. There is no real care for the mares, just Pygmalion, obsessed now with his sweating, sinewed stallion. His eyes have lost focus on Aphrodite as she awoke with a voice, a brain, free thought, strength, opinions, never permitted for these minions, and her superiority in her fair face and this awful virus we call the human race is that she carried the one thing he could not do and never achieve, to choose when it is safe to carry life into this world and choose when not to. We have to preserve this, you must believe. When it is safe to, I choose these words wisely as we need to see that this is determined by men who decide where and when, men in power, this shit shower of progress. And I confess that I am tired of scribing poem upon fucking poem, highlighting these demonic souls whose hearts have holes, are cracked and black. Does anyone listen, or are you tired or just missing? So our sculptor now obsesses with death and destruction, with eruptions of toxic sperm and testosterone to pollute the wombs and tombs of this world, unchecked, unopposed, unashamed. But as writers and creators, we must carry the flame and spread love through words and pressure wash these turds from our path to serenity, to call out the penalties that oppress the pure of heart and mind, to just be kind. The challenge we have is that kind doesn't fill their pockets with fear-based profits. It connects masses and it eradicates classes. So all we are seen as is one, this writhing throng in a beautiful planet with a billion stories to inspire with talks of glories. So this is our place, so we stand face to face. So we use our plays, films, songs, poems, prose to reconnect and hose. Turn on the tap, the ice cold water will either slap in the face or tap on the back to say, stop, look around you and think. If your granddaughter, daughter, sister or wife were to die in childbirth, would you happily, no tears, let her slip from this earth? As the words of fiction that you see as so clear would mean more to you than those you hold so dear. If your answer is yes, then I will not digress and I'll try to connect by filling your head with imagery or metaphors, as your claws will be too deep into your own flesh as you try to feel anything, something of note. I cannot stand here and judge or gloat at how lost you are, a castle and moat with no bridge to draw down, no love around, spades in earth the only sound. Would you honestly see your loved ones die, knowing you had the power to help them survive? I have to ask, are you of this earth? Are you part of humankind, permanently deaf and blissfully blind? I hope the world rises up and makes a wider stance and takes all of the countries into account who condemn my sister's death and strip rights. And I will be there at the front in this fight.